The topic for today is how to thrive as a technical recruiter in 2021. That's what I was talking about back in December. And I thought after I found this presentation on my desktop, like, wow, this could be really cool to deliver this again. So yeah, thanks, Kevin. Gabriela, you cannot hear me? Oh, wow, that's quite annoying. So let me check it again. Microphone is connected. So maybe it's on your end if Kevin can hear me. So to try to play some music on your end, just to double check if it's maybe volume or something is disconnected on your end. So the agenda, really quick introduction on my end, the 3 secret strategies, and then FAQ at the end. So it should take us probably, I don't know, like 45 minutes, 50 minutes roughly to cover it all these strategies and secrets and what I saw working. So there is a worksheet. You can see the link in chat. I'll copy paste it yet again if you missed it. So the worksheet, you can download the PDF file with some of these mind maps that we will be looking at. So the first thing I would like to mention before we start is that if you are struggling to fill IT positions and interact with IT candidates, it's probably not your fault. Because there is a lot of information out there and IT can be really very confusing. So IT terms, IT roles, all these programming languages and frameworks and acronyms. So it's okay not to know everything. And in fact, I've been in IT for, I don't know, 16, 17 years, and I still don't remember the terminology because there is just so much, right? So if you've been concerned in the past that you just cannot succeed in this international tech recruitment, I want to put those fears to rest for a while, because good, and it's good for us, right? IT is the same whether you are in the United States or Australia or Europe or Asia or Canada. So let me know, guys, where are you from in chat? So I'm now in Slovakia. So feel free to type in chat, where are you guys from? And I'm sure IT is the same, whether you are in Portugal or Spain or India or Australia. And you are in Romania, Adelina. Hey, good to see you. So because of, and probably thanks to COVID, even more IT professionals work remotely. Canada, very cool. So most of us work remotely anyway, right? But within IT, it's even more prevalent. So the thing is that you can thrive in tech recruitment. Probably you just need the right person to explain it to you. And the it is, sort of has two different meanings. However, if you've ever felt that software developers hesitate interacting with recruiters, you are also probably right. Because software developers don't like talking to recruiters and headhunters who know very little about IT. Okay, so the second part is really important, who know very little about IT. And that's why we are here today or tonight. If you are in India, like Kevin, it's probably, 8 p.m., 9 p.m. In Canada, it's early morning. It's late afternoon here in Slovakia. So I assume you want to fill more IT vacancies, earn lots of more money, and I want to show you how to make that happen during this webinar. So if you are an independent recruiter or if you work for a recruitment agency, you will learn how to increase your commissions. And if you are working as an internal HR manager or talent acquisition specialist, you will learn how to get more candidates to apply for your vacancies. So my goal from this web class is twofold. So first, for you to understand why the best way to engage with hiring managers and IT candidates is when you actually understand the IT landscape. And second, why the best way to fill vacancies and earn more money on the side is through value-adding interactions. So let me briefly introduce myself for those of you who have not joined my previous webinars or seminars. I'm Michael. Some say I look like a 17-year-old child, but the number 17 actually means something else. So I've been in IT for 17 years. I've co-founded 3 companies and grew one of them to $70 million in annual revenues. I used to be a software developer for about 10 years, an IT director, a CTO, and IT recruiter for 2 years. So over the years, I trained over 30,000 IT and HR professionals online. And with some of you, we know for quite long and quite well, like with Adelina, right? So good to see you again. This is my wife. What you can see in the background of this photo is actually where I'm standing right now. So that's inside our apartment. I have 2 kids, lots of fun with them. This is how we, I recruit sometimes or do some work for clients. They work with me, they just do something else. So it's lots of fun with them. This is how we spend time outside of the working hours. It's lots of fun. Sometimes it's more dangerous, sometimes less, but this is by far my most favorite activity, just to read books or take some notes. When I was back in Thailand, where I lived for 5 years, this is the team I worked with. So IT and the data and product specialists. So I was the IT director back then. So I recruited, I hired these guys. So about a third of this group was part of my team. And I thrive when interacting with software developers. I organize meetups and hackathons, such as this one, with over 150 software developers. So it was great fun. And I recruited and hired many of them over the years. So lots of my colleagues relocated from different countries and continents. Think of the United States, UK, Europe, Australia, New Zealand. And I relocated back to Europe in 2018, and I started a recruitment agency. So when I hired my first in-house recruiter, I started creating some onboarding materials for her because I was the IT person and I know, what do other software developers expect. So I wanted the recruiter to be on a level where she can talk to those developers like me. So I wanted her to understand the IT terminology so she can interact with IT candidates and hiring managers. I wanted her to be confident when screening IT candidates. And over time, I trained and onboarded hundreds of tech recruiters for some other agencies too. So to date, my consulting and training clients include agencies, startups, corporations in the United States, Europe, also in India. Actually, one of our clients right now, it's a company in India, and they just massively hire recruiters and we massively onboard them. So think of dozens of recruiters every quarter. It's like 20 here, 40 there. It's really crazy. So good for you guys who are in India. The market is booming over there. So I think of companies like Accenture, Experis, Manpower, Eventa, Aditi Consulting, etc. So they invite me to speak either on-site or online. These days, due to COVID, it's mostly online, right? So over 30,000 people joined our online courses and training programs and the toolkit and all these ebooks and whatnot. So, if you ask why is this important? Well, it is important because this experience allowed me to observe what and how other recruiters in IT do, what mistakes they make, and how can you guys avoid them. So let's cut to the meat of the matter. The 3 topics to cover today are how to write so compelling job promotions that IT talents cannot refuse not to give you their contact details, even if they are not looking for a job right now. The second topic is how to engage with dozens of IT candidates without sending them hundreds of emails manually every day. And number 3, how to get additional commissions for those candidates who are not hired immediately, yet have high disposable income and want better career opportunities. So starting with the first one, the compelling job promotions. So I'll tell you what happened 2 years ago. After I relocated from Thailand to Europe, a CEO from a local startup called me and mentioned they cannot find a backend developer. And I was like, how can you not find a backend developer? There are so many of them out there. So I looked at their JD and I sort of immediately saw what's wrong. So this was their JD, and it sort of makes sense, right? That's what we all get from our clients. It's often mentioning what is already obvious. That's what 100% developers are supposed to do anyway. They mostly focus on skills, no real abilities or values. They haven't taken the time to figure out how to position it to be interesting for the IT professionals. So it was really messy. So we sat down, I rewrote it in half an hour, and eventually this was the result. We created something that is called to or referred to as role advertisement. So we take the job description and we create role advertisement. And you only can do this if you actually understand what are the must-have skills, what are the programming languages, frameworks, etc. So we looked at the JD and rewrote it to something more compelling to IT professionals. something that eventually, within a few days got new applications, and only within 7 days, they extended an offer to their ideal candidate who eventually worked there for 1.5 years almost. So really cool. And it's just by rephrasing, making it more appealing to IT candidates, and tweaking it slightly. So it was successful because it resonated with the right audience, with the right candidate. And there are so many, right? So not just backend developer, but some IT professionals are more interested in working for a startup. Others are more interested to work in a corporation because they want more stability. Others want to join an agency because they want to change projects every 3 or 6 months. So it's good to keep this in mind, right? Who is the right person to join this team, and create the job advert this way. So, if you look at the market these days, the opposite is happening, which causes lots of frustration at the end of the day. So imagine Joe is the developer who receives a message at 9 a.m. on LinkedIn, hey, we are hiring a Java developer. And then at 10 a.m. he receives another message, hey, Joe, we are hiring a Java developer. And then he receives another message at 1 p.m. Joe, we are hiring a Java developer. And then at 3 p.m., another message. Joe, we are hiring a backend developer. And another message. Joe, we are, we have an opening. So IT professionals receive lots of messages on LinkedIn. They have lots of opportunities. And that eventually causes lots of friction, especially if those messages are not interesting, appealing, and they generally don't speak to their desires, especially if we just send them some relatively generic JDs, something that doesn't stand out anymore, like these super boring job descriptions. And I mean, there is time and space for everything. This JD should be somewhere in the company drawer, in the HR department, right? But when we are promoting to candidates, we need to have something better, something stronger, because this doesn't really cut through the noise anymore. Because imagine you are Joe, the developer. So how would you feel if you received 30 similar messages per week? Just imagine, right? Every day, 2 or 3 messages. Hey, we are looking for, someone like you, and, and nothing really interesting. So I later went on to interview my IT friends and colleagues to figure out what exactly are they actually interested in. So we created this mind map to indicate what are the software developers interested in. So obviously the technical stack, what are the must-have skills? And usually there are only 3, maybe 4, but usually 3 technical skills only, or even 2. For a PHP backend developer, it would be just the programming language and framework, Symfony or Laravel. The work methodology. What's the level of the adoption of best practices? What about the team? Are there any senior superstar team players? What about the project? Why is the project interesting? What is about working in the company on that particular project? The type of engagement goes without saying. Okay, so after you know this, then it is so much easier to articulate it in a way that the developer is interested. You can come up with more compelling or more curiosity-driven sentences, like, hey, Joe, we spoke about your recent engagement in this corporation, and you mentioned you are keen to explore startup environment. So today I've got something special for you. And you can come up with more compelling, more attractive messages. It's like advertisement at the end of the day, right? If you look at how companies advertise their products, it's not just like, hey, there is this soap. Would you like this soap? No, like they talk about, what are the benefits of the soap? Why the soap is better than the other soaps, right? So copy pasting the job descriptions without understanding them is a road to hell. That's really not sustainable, because if you don't know as a recruiter what is written in the JD, you will not be able to find the right candidate. You will not be able to engage with them effectively and eventually recommend to the client. So IT specialists don't like it at all. if you think about this particular post, Martin, who is a Java backend developer, posted it on my Facebook page. And he wrote, I hate HR because they have no idea what they are talking about. They just keep saying Java, CSS, this and that. And they have zero knowledge about that. They just know words, maybe. And it's quite unfortunate, right? Like we are trying to change it with all the materials that we provide. So you guys can also learn it and be more valuable eventually to these IT professionals. So I talked to dozens of recruiters about this problem, and they often tell me they copy paste the JDs because they don't really know what those IT terms mean. And that's probably okay into some extent. It's okay if you'd like to get better over time, right? So if you are wondering how can you do it if you haven't worked in IT for 15 or 17 years like I do, and you don't know the terminology yet, then I would like to share with you these steps, this key to success. In order to sort of unlock these candidates, you need to understand the basic IT terminology and acronyms. You need to learn about the standard IT roles. You need to learn what tools, what languages, what frameworks do these IT professionals use. And then you need to learn about these common personas and what do they usually prefer and value most. And eventually you learn and understand the company pros and cons from the candidate's standpoint. So you can eventually highlight it when you are matching the candidate with the opening. So if we unfold the first one, we have defined this mind map of the must-know IT terms. And at some point, if you are in tech recruitment, you just need to learn this because you will notice all these terms repeat all over again in JDs, in candidates' CVs. This is, for example, a list of all the tech acronyms. I reviewed hundreds of CVs and job descriptions to analyze what are the most frequently appearing acronyms. So an acronym is something that starts with the initial letter. So for example, GCP, Google Cloud Platform, or SDK, Software Development Kit. Okay, so if you know this, then you'll be doing better than 90% of all the recruiters out there, even those who have been doing this for 5 years. They often don't know it. And as I mentioned, I was training in all these, or not all, but in several agencies. So, when I'm saying you would be doing better than 90%, then you would really be doing better than 90%. You would also learn about the standard IT roles. So there are about 75 roles that are standardized. They have typical responsibilities and typical requirements. So if you learn it, you would be able to much faster recognize who to look for, which is really priceless these days. Eventually, you would need to learn what tools, what languages, what frameworks do these IT professionals use. So for example, C# as a programming language can be used for different purposes, for backend development, for desktop, for games. So if you know this, it will be much easier for you to look for developers based on the programming languages or frameworks or tools they use. Eventually, you would learn about the common personas, so makers, crafters, builders, maintainers. So this is something that will help you match the IT professional with the company. So the companies could be startup, agency, corporation, and all of these have some pros and cons for developers. So this is the key to success, as I mentioned. And eventually, this would get easy for you as well. This is the JD I was showing you just 10 minutes ago, the one that we rewrote, and it got great qualified candidates right away because we were able to follow a structured process. It starts with a good hook to capture attention, and then a little story. And then we focused on why this is a great opportunity and who is it a good opportunity for. So for those who are passionate about joining environment X, Y, and Z, if they are or would like to be responsible for the technical stack, etc. So this is also a strategy how to get people interested in the job beyond just the technical match, which will eventually help you increase your response rates, and IT candidates will want to interact with you. So the mistake number one I would like you to avoid is copy pasting the job requirement from clients to your job boards or websites or emails, because if you don't understand it, then it's likely that there will be some mistake, or it will not be clear even to potential candidates or visitors of your job board. So you should be the first one to understand it. So the key is to focus on what the IT professional needs to know, and you need to add some more information to make the opportunity unique and exciting. So when I say what do they need to know, I'm thinking about a few must-have skills. So it's usually, if you imagine a job requirement, there are like 20 bullet points, usually only 3, 4 really matter. But you need to add something more to get the candidate excited. So something more about the team, about the project, about the work culture, etc. So that eventually leads to the so-called value-adding interaction. So in the past, when I mentioned I used to be the CTO, recruiters were just forwarding me CVs without any added value, which is also why I hesitated working with them. But now the way for us in recruitment to increase the value is just by asking this question: am I adding some value in here? Do I understand who to look for? Do I know how to get the candidate interested and excited? Can I select top 3 candidates for the hiring manager? So the cool thing is that this approach doesn't work just for me. It works for all kinds of recruiters, talent acquisition specialists, HR managers who embraced this market shift. For example, Yui, who is a recruiter from Thailand, she thought she can just post JDs on job boards, but after she started using this approach, she got great results immediately. And she wrote on Trustpilot, the courses are very useful, but actually the last sentence is important. Recently, I adopted a new way of writing job ads, as Michael suggested, and I got an amazing result. Maybe you are now thinking it's only for those who speak tech language like I do, but in fact, I've been creating some of these materials for people who have not worked in IT, like myself. So you don't have to worry at all. Maybe you are thinking it doesn't work for your clients and their requirements, but the thing is, people I worked with were in different countries. Some of them were startups, some of them were corporations. Even my clients include startups and corporations. So the same approach just works because you can see a very similar approach happening in other fields, in other industries that use marketing. Probably you wonder if this approach can be used in your country. And I can just tell you, we have clients from Australia, India, European countries, Canada, United States. So it just works across the board. So the fact is that the IT market is changing as we speak. AI-driven recruitment software, automation, the demand and supply in equilibrium make it much more challenging, right? So we need to apply new strategies to fill IT vacancies while building good relationships with those IT candidates. Which leads us to the second point, the second strategy, which is how to engage with those candidates without sending them hundreds of emails manually every single day. So when I started recruiting IT talents, I did exactly what the majority of recruiters do these days. I activated LinkedIn Premium and I started sending LinkedIn messages. So a message like, hey, Philip, we are looking for a senior JavaScript developer to join, X, Y, and Z. But only after a few days, I was very frustrated because of little to no response. I felt like I was bothering people. I didn't really enjoy this activity at all. I felt like quitting because it was so annoying. And as an IT person and a digital marketer, I tried to reverse engineer the process. Like I wanted to avoid the most boring, the most mundane tasks, while at the same time spending my time engaging with highly qualified candidates. Yeah. Thanks for the message, Manish Kumar. Yeah, it's really annoying, right? So I knew that as soon as I'm talking to them, I can sell them the opportunity at hand. Like as soon as I'm talking to some backend developer and I know a lot about the company, then I can figure out the angle to get them interested. I can sell the opportunity at hand. So most recruiters I worked with focused on sourcing or messaging on LinkedIn, so to speak. So they focus on this initial part of the recruitment process, sourcing, right? There is a little added value though, because more and more software is being created as we speak. This will be sooner or later replaced anyway with some software. And LinkedIn doesn't want us to send messages. They decreased some thresholds just a month ago, roughly. So I also wanted to change my focus and shift to where I can add most value, which is qualifying candidates, screening candidates, selling to those candidates. So I wanted to get in line. I went on to set up advertisement campaigns on LinkedIn. And so this was one of the campaigns where I set up the campaign. I invested 500 euros and asked LinkedIn, and this is not any extension, this is like LinkedIn advertisement campaign. And I wanted LinkedIn to send messages to potential candidates based on some skills. So this was the message. I was looking for a head of engineering for one of the companies. And I wrote this sentence like, hey, would you like to join a team of developers in well-funded startups? If you are intimately familiar, ta-da-da. I don't read it all. But this was the message that LinkedIn sent as a sponsored message, not an email, but a sponsored message. So it sent the message to 2,300 people. 85 or 80% of the people opened the message. So 1,845. 58 people submitted their contact details, so they became leads. 25 people were pre-qualified, so I had calls with them. 10 I introduced to the CTO. 5 of them were invited for a technical interview. 4 of them passed the technical interview, and 1 offer was extended, which eventually led to over 20,000 in commissions. Because it was a senior position, it was a great salary, 20% commission. So this was a great campaign with a relatively modest cost per lead. So, but what is really cool is that I was able to focus on the added value instead of sending messages, right? I was able to spend my time focusing on the introductions, technical interviews, get those potential candidates interested and excited, etc., right? So I spent very little time on this project thanks to the ad campaigns on social media. Probably 4 hours to set up the campaign, 3 hours to pre-screen those 58 candidates, 15 hours to arrange calls and introductions, 6 hours, probably 8 I spent on the interviews, and 2 hours some follow-up administration. So the mistake I would like you to avoid is sending hundreds of messages on LinkedIn every day or every week manually instead of engaging with those candidates, because this will sooner or later lead to burnout and frustration. It's not really a sustainable approach. So the strategy, again, doesn't work just for me. It also works for other recruiters who join my training and learn how to apply it. So for example, Ferenc, who is a recruiter from Hungary here in Europe, he was sending messages before, and now he started using this approach on the social media, and he wrote on Trustpilot. The technique I learned was presented well. I was able to apply it right after on 2 different search projects. A good lead were generated that ended up in 2 candidates reaching the offer stage, which is really cool, right? If you think about the typical commissions for each. So maybe you are now thinking you cannot do this because you don't know anything about marketing. But the thing is, you don't have to know about marketing. You don't have to study marketing. I also learned several principles, learned by doing it. And I can teach you these principles. So it's not rocket science at the end of the day. Maybe you are afraid of spending a few hundreds of euros on ads, and that's understandable. It's at the end of the day a matter of your return on investment. If you have a position where you can get a huge upside, it's probably worth investing 200 or 500 euros or 1,000 euros if you can afford it, if the upside is probably 10 times more, or in this case, it was, I don't know, like 50 times more. Probably you are thinking you are too busy to manage your new ad campaigns. But the thing is that you can save time because you don't have to send messages on LinkedIn manually. So you save time and you spend time engaging with candidates. So the truth is that IT professionals are sick and tired of recruiters who keep sending them irrelevant messages on LinkedIn. So we need to get better at communicating with prospects and engaging with them and send them only relevant messages. And Sally, you are asking, ad campaigns different from job ads? Yes, definitely. Job ads are for those candidates or potential candidates who are actively seeking, and they go to LinkedIn jobs and they scroll through jobs, right? But with the campaigns, with LinkedIn advertisement platform, you can proactively reach out to anyone who has a profile on LinkedIn. So that's what other companies do when they sell some other services on LinkedIn. Um, it's more expensive than on Facebook. Facebook also has their advertisement platform. It's all the posts marked as sponsored. So that's similar on LinkedIn. Which also brings us to the topic number 3. And Manish Kumar is asking, when you say ad campaign, it's about all platform or just LinkedIn? Well, it's Facebook. They have their, so Facebook equals Facebook plus Instagram. They have their one platform. Okay, and in LinkedIn, and LinkedIn has their own platform. Okay, so there are two. It's Facebook, and Facebook has it for both Facebook and Instagram, and LinkedIn has their own advertisement platform. So you can run both. For some of our clients, we run both on Facebook or LinkedIn, or only on Facebook, or on Facebook and Instagram, or only on Instagram, or only on LinkedIn. So the topic number 3, the secret number 3, is how to monetize those candidates who are not hired immediately, yet have high disposable income and want better career opportunities. So I can tell you what happened last year. In January 2020, when I was recruiting a head of software development for an international client, I was talking to, 12, 14, 15 candidates, all of them very senior, over 15 years of experience. I was really surprised they couldn't sell themselves very well. Like all these great managers, but they cannot articulate their strengths, why they are a good fit, etc. So they couldn't talk about their core competencies, their core strengths. They didn't have strong profiles or resumes, probably because they didn't need it in the past. And even if one of them gets hired, I was thinking, there are 99% of others who I didn't monetize, right? I don't get any commission as a recruiter for those who are not hired. So that brought me to this thinking, hey, I'm in touch with 100 people in a week or in a month or in a quarter, doesn't matter, just in some time frame. One of them gets hired, I get some fee, but 99 of them are not hired at all. So no money, no honey. I started offering the same IT professionals who were not hired some additional services such as coaching or professional rebranding and social media marketing through Career Upgrade Tools, which is our another division in the company. And it worked like a charm because I had some existing relationships with those guys. They knew me, they trusted me, they liked me, probably a little. And that's how I was able to get some additional revenue from those who were not hired. Okay, so that's important. Those who are not hired, they are not a good fit, but you still can get some money for these people. So, just coming back to this mind map, sort of, you speak to 100 people, probably 2 of them are hired, maybe 1 of them, maybe none of them. It depends, right? But you can always get back to those who are not a good fit, and a segment of them, obviously not all of them, but a segment of them, again, probably 2%, 1%, 3%, could be offered some additional services, and you can get commission for them. So the mistake that I would like you to avoid is leaving money on the table, because you already have very valuable relationships and you need to look for other ways how to monetize them. So just ask yourself, am I leaving some money on the table here? Am I getting most out of all those relationships that I've built over the 2 years, 5 years, or 10 years? Some of the services the senior IT professionals welcome and appreciate include, for example, LinkedIn profile improvement or online credibility boost. So it depends on the seniority of the person. Obviously, a junior developer will not pay this amount of money, but our clients include, for example, a CTO or a head of engineering or a senior network engineer. So people who are transitioning in their career, or they want more or better career opportunities. So if you get 30% of this amount, it's quite a decent bump. The Career Upgrade Tools partnership offers $1 for each person who downloads a free ebook, so a free ebook, and we pay you $1, or 30% commission on each sale. The sale is whether it is coaching or professional rebranding, etc. So there are people, especially, you would probably waste your time approaching a junior developer with a 2,000 euros coaching program, right? That's not a good fit. But there are people on the market who are more senior, people who want some other senior to help them get more and better opportunities. And if you think about it, someone who can get a job for 100,000 euros or dollars next year, can pay 500 euros or 1,000 euros for coaching how to get there. So if we just look at this example, we invoice, the Career Upgrade Tools invoices 790 or 690. We give sometimes discounts in some countries. So if we take the 790 as a base, you would get 30% commission on each sale. So just for referring a free ebook to your existing candidates. And the commissions are paid via PayPal. So if you have PayPal, then we just pay the commission. Maybe you are now wondering, how can you do some coaching or offer some services? But the thing is that you don't have to, because we will deliver it. So I know you are busy. You have lots of different projects to tackle, and that's okay, right? But let's look at your existing talent pool. Maybe you have 10,000 people in your database, and we can organize a campaign to target them, to offer them some of these coaching programs. Or, for example, we are now developing a course and a program to help people, for example, from outside of Europe to get job opportunities in Europe. So some of you are in India, you mentioned. So for example, Indian developers want to work for companies in Europe, but they don't really know how to cut through the noise, how to get a good job in Germany, for example. So this is one of the examples. And if you can sell it, then we would pay you the commission, obviously. So probably you wonder if your IT candidates are interested in some free ebooks or in this coaching. So the thing is, it's always a numbers game, right? As with everything in life, as with recruitment, a percentage of candidates is never interested, right? They are way too busy. But since it's a numbers game, usually 3, 4, 5% of candidates are enough to offer some service and close them. So the fact is that everyone wants more and better career opportunities. It's just a matter of the timing. So sooner or later, seasoned IT professionals have high income and can afford these additional services. So if you approach them right now, you may not approach them in the right time, but maybe in a month or in 3 months, you can revisit it later. So it's just a matter of timing when to approach them and how frequently. And maybe you think people don't download these ebooks anymore, but as you can see on one of the screenshots from our system, just in 1 week, people downloaded 150 ebooks. So what is actually more important on this screenshot is the number 41.55%. So 41, actually 42% conversion, if we round it up, means that 42% of people who visited the website opted in for the free ebook, which is a decent conversion, right? So every second person wants the free ebook. Cool. So guys, before we go to the Q&A, let me ask you, who would like to first fill more vacancies or earn more money on the side, or number 3, do both? Okay, so 1 or 2 or 3, and you can just type in chat, would you like to fill more vacancies or earn more money on the side, or do both? Okay, Nikhil 3, Manish Kumar responded 3. Yeah, I can see. Cool, Manish Kumar, thanks for reposting it. What about the rest of you guys? Kevin, fill more vacancies. Katarina, fill more vacancies. Gabriela, both. Yeah. Very cool. Jan, hey, good to see you. Number 1. Yeah, I mean, it's some of you who selected 3. You are like, me in this case, because I'm like, hey, why not to take both if you can? And especially my wife, she usually approaches, she appreciates if I earn some money on the side. Yeah, like it also depends on your current engagement in the company. The money to, or the option to earn money on the side could be better for those of you who do not work for some corporation, because you may be bound by some restrictions or whatnot. But it's always good to keep track of people you are in touch with, maybe some spreadsheet or some applicant tracking system. And after you leave the company, you can revisit it later. So for those of you guys who responded 1, 2, 3, both, I can show you a few options if you'd like, how we can help you or your team to actually fill more IT vacancies and earn more money on the side if you'd like. So just let me know in chat. And meanwhile, I will check the question. The question from Manish Kumar was, what is this ebook? Well, the ebook was about, well, there are 2 actually. One is how to boost the credibility on LinkedIn and how to appear more senior, which is what those IT professionals eventually wanted. So if you guys are interested, I can show you what we prepare and what's in the making. So what I discovered after I worked with over 30,000 IT and HR professionals, through the online courses. Many of them are coming from international recruitment agencies, and also countless of IT professionals who I hired and recruited. I have discovered that the key to success when it comes to tech recruitment is in analyzing the technical JDs, because I've seen lots of recruiters waste days or weeks looking for IT professionals who are not there, like a Drupal DevOps expert, just because they were not able to analyze the JD. Second, the confidence screening of IT candidates is super important, because if you can screen candidates quickly and with confidence, you can reach out to them, you can get them excited, everything is easier and faster. Fill more IT vacancies, obviously, without saying, and earn more money on the side, because at some point you may reach a point when you simply cannot get more out of your day. You can work hard for 12 hours or 14 hours and you reach some plateau when it comes to your income or revenues, but you can utilize your existing resources and get some commission. And you can get some commission on the side. So the key to success is in these 4 or 5 steps. The first one, to lay down really strong foundation. So I'm a big fan of really understanding the IT landscape, and it's probably a little influenced by me spending 17 years in IT. But I can tell you, it's just so much easier for me to have a discussion with a candidate, with a developer about and I don't talk about Java version 17, whatnot, because I'm not as technical anymore. But it just gives me some confidence, right? And we have created this program that can inject the right level of knowledge to anyone who is transitioning from non-tech to IT recruitment, and can just pull a few of these phrases and talk with confidence. Next, analyzing IT job requirements. It's super important, as I mentioned, because you can waste days or weeks, and I don't want to bore you now with stories from these webinars, but like referring to the Drupal DevOps expert, it was just one where I was like, gosh, like how come you wasted 6 weeks looking for this person instead of figuring out, if it actually makes sense or not. But yeah, it is what it is. Screening candidates, super important. Getting more candidates through social media, whether Facebook or LinkedIn. It comes back to one of those campaigns as I was showing you. And we are running these campaigns for some of our other clients, even recruiters, individual recruiters, or for agencies on Facebook or on LinkedIn. And eventually monetizing 90% of those candidates who are not hired. Okay, so I created lots of materials that reflect all these stages. So the mind maps are actually our best-selling product that recruiters from around the world purchase, from Canada, United States, Singapore, Australia, obviously Europe. The IT Recruiter Toolkit, which is the e-learning program with over 300 videos. The ebook, Clear Job Requirements. Number 3, Confident Interviews Guide. Recruitment method exposed on how to get candidates without sending messages, and then the partnership with career upgrade tools and access to our vendors portal so you can earn some money on the side. So the next group that we are starting with recruiters from around the world, because it's international tech recruitment, starts on June 21st. So if you guys would like to join it, then you can just go to https techrecruitmentprogram.com and you can check it out. You can get your ticket. So we start the group already in 6 days. So next week on Monday, and it's around this time. So last time we had people from Canada, from United States. So it was around 8-9 a.m. their time. And it also worked for people in Singapore. There was one person in Singapore, one person in Thailand, also one person in Philippines. So it's like the sweet spot across these time zones. And it's a great opportunity to meet people who are equally passionate about tech recruitment and grow together, learn this stuff together. So there are 2 options how to join. The standard ticket, which includes real-time live video training sessions, PDF worksheets, ebooks, video replays, 10-day follow-up training, alumni group, which is really cool, especially if you would like to be in touch with other fellow tech recruiters, especially if you work independent as an independent recruiter. You may need someone to get in touch with. And the onboarding as a career upgrade tools partner, obviously optional if you'd like. You would get courseware, all these ebooks, materials. So everything is here to support you on this journey. And the VIP ticket includes, on top of the standard ticket, also unlimited video replays, certification exam, the access to the job portal where you can find some of our clients' vacancies and then submit to your candidates or people and you obviously get commission. So this is a great way to recover the costs of the program within a day if you can. The best part is that we will share with you the job requirements from our partners so you can start recruiting on the site right after you pass the certification. So even in the last program, there was a recruiter from Spain, and she liked the program so much that we hired her eventually. So she was able to recover the costs this way. There are some other people who join it and they become vendors, and that's also completely okay. They can recover the costs the other way. But you don't have to obviously start working for our clients. You can work for whoever, right? Like that, it's just optional. You would get access to our job portal. This is what it looks like, different technical positions, technical vacancies. And eventually you would become our local partner on the ground. So this could be very interesting for you if you'd like to shift from local recruitment to international recruitment, because in IT, everything is international, right? Developers from Jakarta work for companies in Australia, or from Romania, they work for San Francisco startups. So the next group starts next week, and we only have a few tickets left. So if you'd like, you can go to techrecruitmentprogram.com and grab your ticket and think like, hey, how will your life change if you fill one more vacancy every month? Because you could, right? If you know how to analyze the JD properly, if you know how to screen candidates, if you can quickly match the candidates with vacancies, then it's not too difficult to fill one more vacancy per month, right? So what does it mean in terms of commission? If you are not incentivized in your current company, then you can just fill the one vacancy, on the side while working for us as a vendor. So signal your interest. Let me know in chat. You can. So we can book a slot for you, or follow up with you, or just go directly to the Tech Recruitment program and sign up right away. There is money back guarantee as for all our products. So if you don't like it for whatever reason, then you can ask for a refund, but this just doesn't happen for this program. The reviews have been really great. And we organize it every 2 months. So we always improve it. And this is what recruiters said about this program. We are rated excellent on Trustpilot. Amit, for example, from India, he said, your recent training for our recruiters was great. Now they know what skills are essential on the back end and front end. Our directors are impressed with the quality and quantity of your content. Next, we'd like our sales managers to go through similar program to learn what technical questions they should ask. Oleg mentioned these are 100% must-have courses for everyone who starts career in recruiting. Great help for recruiters. Deborah wrote Geekruiter, which was our old name. She wrote, Geekruiter gives me the possibility to better understand how to conduct interviews. As a psychologist, I didn't know much about IT, but now I know. Michaela, I was really surprised how professional this is. IT people finally speak a normal language so that everyone can understand. So, and you guys asked, Gabriela, what time of the day the program will be conducted? It is 4 p.m. Central European Summer Time, which is exactly as we started today. It was also 4 p.m. when I started here. So it's 3 p.m. London, 5 p.m. Kiev, 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern Time, roughly. So it's exactly as now, like we would be right now in the middle of the session. And Nikhil is asking, what's the cost of training and join your partnership offer? So the cost is, it's on the website. It is 149 for the standard ticket and 247 for the VIP ticket. And this is the discounted price. In September, it will be 199 and 299. So if you decide not to invest, you can do nothing, obviously. You may be losing opportunities, and just keep asking yourself, am I leaving money on the table? And always, right? Like if you need help financing it, we can find a way how to split payments. That will, probably be an option. You can also just go through YouTube or Wikipedia, but that's what lots of the agencies we worked with followed, but then they are frustrated because they have no strategy, no clear path. It takes forever. And eventually they don't have any structured way to onboard new joiners. So it's not really a strategy. It's just some random, stuff. You can ask your colleagues and friends, but it's very inconsistent. No follow-up, no materials. And we have like all the materials. I can show you probably here. Oh yeah. I can show you here, like this is one of our workbooks. So this is what you would get with lots of mind maps, materials, worksheets, cheat sheets and questions and slides, and everything is here. And this is just the workbook. Then we have the clear job requirements guide, which is also a material that you would have access to with some cheat sheets and different roles. So data engineer, for example, right now, right here. Confident interviews is the other material. So how to screen candidates. For example, this is a database developer, how to screen, what questions to ask. There are cheat sheets and whatnot. It's always here. And the most popular product, obviously, I would teach you how to use it, these mind maps. So there are about 25 different mind maps, actually even more, 28, 29, we were adding some more, and you would get it in the form of a PDF. Manish Kumar, you are asking, yes, it will be a PDF. So definitely I will teach you how to use it. So this is just so much better than just going through some random YouTube videos, because I will teach you exactly how to use these mind maps when, for example, you get on a call with a Java developer. For example, it's somewhere here on the page number, for example, here, C#, right? On the page number 15. So I don't remember all the terminology myself after 17 years in IT. So I just look at this mind map and I'm like, okay, dear candidate, so what testing framework have you used? NUnit or MS Test, right? Because I just cannot remember it myself. So I would not expect you to remember it, but we just need to learn this mind map, which gives you the clues what to ask for different positions. This is C#, and there is Java, it's right here. So what to ask Java developers. And oh yeah, Adalina, thanks a lot. I encourage everyone to enroll in your program. I learned a lot. There are fantastic materials, PDF videos. Yeah, thanks a lot, Adalina. You know, eventually, if you decide not to invest or enroll in the program, it will take way too long. It will be more expensive in the long run. So the next group starts on June 21st. You can just go to the techrecruitmentprogram.com and get your ticket. How long will it be? Gabriela is asking. It will take 3 weeks. The first 2 weeks, 1.5 weeks, 2 weeks almost, they are live, so live sessions with me. And the second part, so you know, after those initial 10 days, so the second 10 days are on-demand study, you know, follow-up materials. You will have access to the toolkit and everything for additional study. So it's 10 days plus 10 days. So it's 21 days, and then you take the certification exam. And usually we meet for about 90 minutes. You know, on Monday from 4 to 5:30, on Tuesday from 4 to 5:30, on Wednesday from 4, and obviously you get video replays if you cannot make it, which sometimes happen. So that's okay. You can always watch the replay, go through the materials, study the ebooks and whatnot. Gosh, kids just arrived from school, so it's getting noisy here. So I guess at some point we can wrap it up. We covered it all. It's 5:01 here in Slovakia. So how are you guys? Do you have any questions about the program? I guess I answered your questions. Manish Kumar wrote that he will join the standard, or that he will join the program with the standard ticket. You have earned trust, Michael. Yeah, thanks Manish Kumar. Well, yeah, I've been doing this for quite some time, so it's you know, it's been always improved and tweaked, and you know, it's just you know, lots of people went through the program, and we are keen to improve based on everyone's feedback. I will write you an email. Please send me the feedback. Okay, yes, Adalina. Okay, I'll check it out. I'll just make a note. Okay, so unless you guys have any questions, feel free to just go to the website, the recruitment program, and you can get your ticket. Manish Kumar wrote that you want to explore options of taking franchise. That's a great idea. Definitely. Let's explore this one. Sayali need to leave. That's okay. We are just wrapping it up. So thanks everyone. It's been pleasure talking to you. Thanks for all these questions, and I'll talk to you soon again. So stay tuned, and we will keep in touch. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Thanks, Sam. Thanks, Zoe. Thanks, Manish Kumar. Thanks, Adelina. Talk to you soon. Thanks, Nikhil. Talk to you soon, guys.
Thank you very much.